Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to this week's Jash Talks. With me today, as always, is my loyal co-host, Omar.
Punch it! I'm gonna make
And
that my catchphrase.
what?
I'm gonna make that my catchphrase.
Yeah, 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 you don't need one. And with us today for his first appearance on the show is Alex.
Hi there.
And as always, if you have any questions or comments while you're watching the podcast, I'll have my phone on so I can answer them for like the one person that ends up actually showing up for the live show. And our topic today is space exploration, but since something really historic happened yesterday, we're going to start off with that. And that is that in the U.S., the Supreme Court finally decided that same-sex marriage is legal.
Yay!
Woo.
It is now legal for homosexuals to be miserable together.
Well,
Woo!
it's not just homosexuals because bisexual people.
Yeah, I was just saying that because it sounded better.
What?
I don't know why, but whenever I say gays, it just sounds inherently mean. Don't know what it is. There's no meanness in it. It just sounds that way.
I don't know. It's been used for a while to be a bad thing.
Yeah. They
Although
need to find a better name. You know what they should call themselves?
What?
Centurions.
What?
Well, how badass would that be?
Superiors?
No, centurions, like Roman centurions. They could be like, "Hi, I'm a centurion." They won't even be after the girls, but the girls' panties will drop. Science?
Do you have any opinion on this?
Well, with the naming, I remember reading last night. It was an article. It was an article on Cracked. Somebody was talking about how she kind of takes umbrage to the fact that queer is used in the community when she grew up thinking of queer as sort of a slam, and for me, it's like I remember somebody else pointing out, if you use the slam, like some people have adopted negative terms that way because it's like if you use it yourself, it kind of ceases to be a slam term.
Yeah, there's a sort of division in the LGBTQ plus community of, whether queer is bad or not, and seems, personally, I don't mind it, but I've never really had a bad encounter. I'm in the closet in certain spaces, so I've never had someone randomly walk up to me and call me queer yet. I might find out about that when I leave my dad's house and am on Hi One Viewer, and I'm on my own with my fiance. I might discover that.
Well, it sort of reminds me of on The Simpsons when in the episode Homer's Phobia, when he was like, "Stop using that word queer. That's our word for you."
Yeah, it's I like when the news was announced, I sort of wanted to go out and start shouting on the streets. I have asthma, so I would probably be running for like a minute and then pass out. But I live with my dad who's a homophobe, so I couldn't exactly say, open the door and go, "Yay! Same-sex marriage is legal!"
I'm decidedly straight, and I've been posting about it all the time. Like I kind of celebrate things in my own way. So I posted Ronnie James Dio's "Rainbow in the Dark" on my Facebook page.
I don't know what that is.
It's it's a metal song. I first learned about it because it was in Rock Band 3, and it's one of those songs that it's like as hard in that game, and it's also ridiculously hard on a real guitar. But it but it the chorus is like, it's a rainbow in the dark.
Suddenly I want that for my ringtone.
That should be the gay national anthem. Be the most awesome anthem ever. My family has a very different way of behaving with good news. Like, this is good news. I think most of my family generally thinks that. Like, my parents maybe not so much. They don't appear to think much about it. My family, though, we have a very, I think it's the best way to deal with stuff like this. We have a I don't care attitude. It's where, like, oh, they got good rights? Well, good for them. Now where's my pizza? Because it doesn't matter, because they should have got it in the first place. This isn't a big thing. It's not a, well, it is a good thing, but it's just like, good job. Now you're like everyone else.
Thing that should have happened a long time ago, because it's like, wait, people treat it as
it's not a big achievement for humanity. It's like the reversal of a mistake.
Well,
We
I
got
mean,
fucked up, but we fixed it.
well, I mean, remember, we didn't have. I mean, women didn't have the right to vote until the early 20th century as well in America.
Quite remarkable, you know. Like, we've had English queens, you know what I mean? They've done quite a lot for our country. So it's remarkable to me that, like, women couldn't vote.
Jeez. America, totally advanced, the best country ever. If we're ever to make our women vote in our, homosexuals. Hey!
America, 1930s, women cannot vote. England, 1700s, women in charge.
Okay, okay, Omar, this is probably the only time I'm going to do this. By give England a point there.
What? You saying England ain't the most perfect country in the goddamn world?
No, I'm just saying you get a goddamn point.
I will fight you if you don't give another point to it because of just good reasons, okay? The flag, at least, it's a good flag. It's a sexy flag. You got me. It's a damn good flag. Also the flag of rock.
Okay.
Well, I must confess a little bit of bias because heads up, this is going to come up later in the show with our discussion, but I'm sort of an Anglophile from watching a lot of BBC sitcoms like Fawlty Towers, The IT Crowd.
My man!
Excuse me?
Oh, my man! High five. Yeah. It's good to be an Anglophile. We have good shit. We don't have much shit because we're a small island nation, but everything we do is good. We have consistent good shit.
And for the record, yes, I also watch Doctor Who. I haven't watched as much classic Doctor Who because there's 50 years and I don't know where to start.
Dude, I'm English and I don't even know where to start. There's fucking tons of that stuff. It's like endless.
If Jim was on here, he seems to be a very good Doctor Who fan, so he could probably suggest something.
I've watched some episodes after the other dude suggested a few, like in his blog, but I can't say I've watched a lot.
I would suggest that I mean this isn't something canon or anything like that, but I would suggest basically with Doctor Who you don't have to remember much of the individual adventures. So what you do is with every predecessor Doctor, every classic Doctor, you get one episode when they're first introduced, one episode around the middle that's generally rated to be a good episode, and the episode where they're on the way out. That way, it's not much, but it's you get an idea of who that Doctor was, who they are, and a little bit more about them. And you can probably get past the entirety of the classic Doctor Who fairly easily after that.
All right. Hold on a second, guys. I gotta tag out for a second.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
I realize Doctor Who isn't technically a good thing to be talking about, considering that the first part of our thing here doesn't work. But actually, if you think about it, space and time, on top of that, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Doctor Who is very open in terms of its sexuality and all that. I mean, it doesn't make a big deal of it, but it does. It is liberal. You know what I mean? Several gay people are in it.
Yeah,
Captain Jack Harkness model or something.
I like the two lesbian detectives.
Yeah, lizard chick and stuff. I feel like we accept that a little too much. She's a lizard.
I
She's a
don't.
fucking lizard.
You've seen what I've written before, Omar. You know that.
Yes, but she's a fucking lizard. Why does
So
no one question that? Why is no one like, I'm perfectly okay that you're a girl and you're a girl, but she's a fucking lizard. This bitch is cold-blooded.
cute.
She can't be hot for you. She
Shut
can't
up.
get hot at all. She's a lizard.
Lizard phobiast. And this is where Alex decides to come into. Okay, let's actually get started on the podcast.
Podcast down.
We'll talk about the lizard phobes later.
Oh.
What was that? Not the beginning, or was that just like Return of the Jedi, where we had like a side adventure before the main adventure?
Yes,
The
we
main
pulled a return.
adventure was the pre-adventure. I hate myself sometimes. Okay, first question. What planet in the solar system would you most like to visit? And no, Earth does not count for obvious reasons.
Do I get to pick a time when this happens? Like a time where humans have colonized this planet to a certain degree, or is it just any planet as is?
Any planet as is, and since this whole thing is space exploration, let's not get into... You could be like the start of a colony, but...
I will pick the moon. I realize that might not be a good answer, but I realize I definitely pick the moon. Because it's close to home, but at the same time in space, and like, if you got like a wingsuit on the moon and there was air around, you could flap your wings and fly. I could be a bird. Penguins are flightless, goddammit!
Well,
You will never fly!
do.
How about you guys?
Well, that is a tough call because we know so little about we know so I'm one of those people who is interested in space exploration, but I still don't know a ton about what's on what's on other planets. But
I think generally with the planets in our solar system, there appears to be like a trifecta going on. Like there are planets made of just rock that we can stand on, but they tend to be a little too hot, as far as I can tell. You know what I mean? Then there are the gas planets which you don't want to get anywhere near. Personally, this seems terrifying to me. Like just a planet made of gas. If you got there, you would just fall infinitely until you got crushed by gas. Can you imagine that? Crushed by fart gas? Oh hell no. And then there are like the watery ice planets. They're very cold. Water is probably the wrong answer. They're very cold planets. You know what I mean? The ones that maybe rock, but they're too cold to really do anything about. You step there and your bones freeze. It's really, those appear to be the three. I think the further away, obviously, the colder you get. Middle of the gas giants close, and further the sun is hot. That appears to be the general, options. In terms of most close to humanity, we have like Mars is obviously the best choice, but yeah, it's also a bit hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb, and even though I like the movie, I'm gonna go on a limb and say Interstellar was not scientifically accurate.
What was that?
What was what?
Why do you think that?
Well, because all the planets in the movie that they visited looked like relative to something that could be found on Earth.
So they were Earth-like planets.
Yeah, but except there was no life, and they were all sort of like one planet was all ocean, one planet was all snowy mountains, but I'm guessing because they were confined to what's on planet Earth, but I don't know, they probably could have used...
The thing, what I found out as, a science fiction fan is that it seems a bunch of the time that, writers, directors, or whatever simplify planets into one terrain. Like Hoth is all ice, the moon of Endor is all forest.
I don't know if to do that. I think it's just like you can like why would you spend more time explaining a part of the planet you're never going to see? It just
You
doesn't
could
make sense.
just like it takes like a sentence or two to say, oh, and there just
Yeah, well,
say
like it weighs the script down. You have to do that every time there's another planet, and in a sci-fi movie, you're going to see a lot of planets, right? So it's going to
yeah.
be like
Well,
we
in
found
a
planets.
sci-fi
Got
movie, you
But
could
there's also some
see
ice
the
in.
terrain from space. You could see like a desert over here, some mountain areas. They don't have to be in detail because you're in fucking space and coming towards the planet.
That's true. That's true. They could do that. But it might just be that maybe they did the script first and then the graphics later to accommodate that. But quick thing about sci-fi movies, right? I realize that a lot of times they're unrealistic, and like you said, that it's unlikely he would have found planets like that. I actually think that the one defining thing of almost all sci-fi movies is that makes them all work. It isn't just the science. It's that everyone in a sci-fi movie is lucky as fuck. It's like if they roll a dice, they get a six every time. You know what I mean? That's how these movies work. Because it's like we'll go through a random portal and somehow we end up on an Earth-like planet again and again and again and again. They're just lucky bastards.
We can
That's how
breathe
sci-fi
the
works.
air.
Uh, or or like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, when where the joke is that he just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Oh, are you talking about the BBC miniseries?
That joke actually extends into the movie, the book, and the BBC series.
I just need to know if you see the BBC
Yeah,
miniseries.
I've seen it.
I
It's been
love
a
it.
while.
I need to tie my fiance down to watch that because I've, that was a part of my childhood.
Well, I'm such a Hitchhiker's fanatic that I had to see it. Um, though anybody who knows me well enough probably thinks I had ulterior motives for seeing the Hitchhiker's movie. But
Define
yeah,
ulterior motives. Was there a girl?
yes,
Do we know?
yeah, yeah. I think everybody listening already knows what I'm getting at. But yes, I am talking about the fact that Zooey Deschanel is in it.
I get the feeling you're a massive fan of New Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good show to be fair. That's hilarious.
Oh, before I go back to directing Alex to choosing a planet in our own solar system, I'm just going to point out that he picked a good shirt to wear for his science episode,
Green
the
shirt?
Green Lantern.
Oh. I'll agree to that. That was a good choice.
I have pandas on mine.
Back off with your pandas, yeah. Panda bastard.
Okay, Alex, what planet in the solar system would you choose?
I don't know. Just for the sake of it, I think I'll just go with Mars. Because why not? Though again, like Homer Simpson would said, yeah, you give me the one with all the Martians.
I also choose Mars. I don't know, since I've been 8 or 9 at least, I've wanted to fucking go to Mars, and I know, colonizing will take me away from the internets and everything, but it's just like, and I'll most likely die on Mars because there's probably not going to be a return flight back, but it's like Mars. Mars, I just want to go to Mars.
Well, there's the thing you have to remember about space travel as well. It's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. I'm all alone, more or less.
We have our new soundboard, Omar.
Some of the listeners will get that. Some of them won't.
And they have poor tastes. Actually, like my big ex, he got me into Red Dwarf, so like a little bit after we broke up, I couldn't watch it. But now I watched it again, and I really need to just binge on the whole series.
Well, sadly, it's not on Netflix anymore, but which was quite irksome for me. But I got the first 4 seasons for my birthday.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, it was funny. I was only expecting 1 season, but I got the first 4.
Red Dwarf's a good series. Well, you know, Red Dwarf. There's a new season of Red Dwarf coming, by the way. So if anyone wants to see that, you should watch out for that. That's going to be good. I can't believe they managed to do it, but I'm very, very thankful. My feelings exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too, though. It's kind of one of those things where, as much as I like Red Dwarf, I almost wish they would quit while they were ahead, because, you know, I mean, it's very rare for British sitcoms to last as long as Red Dwarf has. But
I agree that British sitcoms do stop early. I think that actuality, that's not a great thing. I think we have like a dichotomy with you guys. You guys keep your sitcoms going until they are dry as a dead fish. You know what I mean? Like you do not let that go. But we give up way too early. We're like, okay, we've got 2 seasons in the belt. We can't possibly tell any more stories. We're out. That I'm not a fan of either. I think there should be a bit of a middle ground. I think Red Dwarf has found a good middle ground. They don't release many seasons often. It's a slow burner, which means they have time to really think about it, to really write a proper story, to come up with a good thing to make. They don't just make it because they have to. They make it because they've found good stuff to make. And that, I think, is what makes it okay for them to do that.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, and that's... I kind of wish more American shows would sometimes take a season or 2 off, because It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was really, like, languishing for a while. Like, the season before the most recent season, they were straight up copying stories. They did a Lethal Weapon episode, and that was just a straight up copy of a previous episode. But they took a season off, and I've seen half of the 10th season, but what I saw, they were on fire for this season.
I would like to point out first, I am a massive fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I do think it's possibly the funniest comedy on TV. I agree with you, season 9 wasn't the best. I don't think it was that bad. I saw what you mean by the repetition. Like, I believe, was it the first or second episode that was literally based on the plot that they were doing an old kind of scheme again, and they didn't realize it.
Right. Well, I definitely agree.
That was an amazing way of reusing the plot.
Yeah, I do agree that was funny, and season 9 did have a lot of good episodes, like the one that was written by the Game of Thrones writers. That was a parody of Flowers for Algernon. But I think that in terms of being consistently funny, the 10th season was funnier from what I've seen.
Oh, it was definitely. The 10th season is one of their best. It's not only just back on their game. It's Jesus Christ, these guys are killing it again. I think I knew the 10th season was going to be good as soon as I saw the first episode. I was like, dear God, this is beautiful. This is amazing. This is exactly why I love this show. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. Although I tell you what, I am terrified because Danny DeVito is like 7 years old now. Like he had better not die. I refuse to accept that.
I refuse to accept
not only that,
Lee has actually died. I think he's just in hibernation.
But here's the thing. The thing with Danny DeVito is he's tiny, he's chubby, he's like an old man. He's sweaty and oily. He's like constantly doing hard work, so stressed out, and he's old as fuck. That dude has to have like 1 year left in his lifespan or something. So like somebody get that man some vitamins. You know what I mean? Jesus, put him on a diet or something. Keep him alive. We need him longer.
Let's go to the next topic and stop talking about Danny DeVito. Okay.
Don't leave me.
People believe there should be a greater focus on a space program.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Frankly, I believe we put so much fucking money in. Well, you guys, Americans, put so much fucking money in guns that I don't understand it. Where are those guns going? What are you doing with them? I tell you what you're doing. You're blowing up my fucking auntie and uncle in Pakistan is what you're doing. But they don't have planes. You don't need to have a F-77 mega jet to take them down. You need a gun and a helicopter. I can get you a helicopter down my local junkyard. It ain't that hard. You have to put billions and trillions of pounds into it. But no, you do. You do that. And then you have the biggest guns in the world. But what for? Are you fighting some massive war? Is Russia coming at us again? I hadn't noticed. I'm sorry, is Hitler back? No, he isn't. We don't need that many guns. You're doing it anyway. Okay? Like, if you put a quarter of the budget that the United States puts in the military into the space program, motherfucker, being on Mars would be an afterthought. We'd be like, oh, you mean we're on Mars? I knew that since I was born. That happened long ago. I'm shocked. You know what I mean? It's a thing that happened. We'll be moving out into other solar systems. We'll have some motherfucker in the middle of the sun just kind of having a cheeseburger because it's his shift. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be that big a deal. But no, got to put all that money in guns.
Now I just want to eat a cheeseburger in the middle of the sun.
It would be a nice experience. It'd be quite fresh.
That'd be cool. I need a shitload of sunscreen. I mean, look at this pale skin.
SPF 10 million.
And then, like, there'd be something for my eyes because I already wear glasses, so.
Well, but yeah, definitely we should be concentrating it way more. I mean, honestly, if you did put half of the money the world spends on military on space travel, we would easily have multiple probably functional space stations. We'd have like probably orbiters around almost every planet in the solar system. The moon will be long since colonized. You know what I mean? Maybe not by civilized people, by everyday people, but we'd have like thousands of scientists up there by now. It wouldn't be a big deal at all. I would wager that we'd have people on Mars easily. It would be a thing. I won't be surprised if we had people on every planet that is habitable. Because the point is, we're not that far from this already. But if you put that money in there, the only actual issue with space travel is time. You need time. You can get there, you just need the time. And I think with that extra money, we could bypass those kind of problems and put the time in, and we'd have people there. But right now, we have so little money that we can't afford to send some guy on a lifelong trip to Mars. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't coming back. We can't have that. But regardless, yeah, we definitely should. We're definitely not putting in. We're not even putting a fraction of nothing. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous how little we're doing. And you know what's even more scary? You know who is putting more in than us? Well, than you guys. The fucking Russians! The fucking Russians! You guys want the Russians in space? You guys know what the Russians are like. Don't put the Russians in space. Do you want the first thing in alien seas to be a Russian? They will piss themselves and run away. We'll never see again.
Yeah, I guess that
an
alien seeing a Russian would be worse than an alien seeing an English person.
Yeah, they'd be immediately attracted to us. We can't have that either.
Bullshit!
You know it's true. Now, your turn.
Omar, did I scare you?
No, I said your turn. So what do you guys think?
Okay, it's Alex's turn. I go last.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like I really do have a fondness for the space program, and I really do like it, but I sort of question what the end is. It's almost tough to have a roundtable discussion about it, where it's like, I'm sitting here thinking, nah, I don't know, because I don't know what the end is, and then I hear someone say what the end game is, and now it's like, well, that's a good point. We should get behind that.
Well, I mean, the end game really for space travel, in the absolute end, like in what we really need to be doing, is that we can't live on this planet forever. We're already suffering overpopulation problems. We got food issues. We haven't got enough land or fuel. You know what I mean? I say that. Well, we have, frankly, but we haven't got enough to last us. You know what I mean? Like, we're living in a house. We've got our fridge is starting to run low. We ain't even thinking of going to the shop yet. You know what I mean? We got to get there, and we got to prepare for this problem before it happens. And space colonization is first of all, land. We will have more places to live. Overpopulation becomes less an issue. It's the next level we in scientific pursuit, and we as humans love that. To be honest, we love progress. We need to move forward. We can't just stay still. That's not the way of things. And if we do that, we'll have more resources to advance our own luxuries in lives, more abilities to do things, more resources, make shit cheaper and makes production cheaper. Therefore, there'll be more things to go around, more higher tech, etc. Frankly, that's really it. We need more space to live, and we want to improve our living conditions, and that does so. And obviously, there's the alien factor. that may or may not happen. I don't really know for the question what to say about that.
With the aliens, like if we dismiss science, like Star Wars and such, where like every system has a habitable planet with intelligent life, it's there's a lot less habitable planets in reality than what you see in movies. So it's probably be a while even after we start space exploration.
Well,
that
actually,
we
I think the truth of the matter is
find
actually
an alien civilization that's close to our own or is a little bit more primitive or just in the alien civilization that's sentient.
the thing with that is, in actuality, there are more habitable planets in the solar system in our universe than we can ever fucking count. It's just there's a fucking lot of space in between them all. Is what I mean. You know, we got such a big universe that even though there are a shit ton of habitable planets, they're so far away that we're really not gonna know straight away. You know what I mean? Like, I believe they did the math on this or something that even if it's like a very small amount per system, it still comes up to a massive number. Um, and I think at some point we do. I don't think we as humans we don't like being alone. We don't like it. I mean, we may like occasionally being alone, but we don't really like it. You know what I mean? And I feel like kind of finding an alien race would relieve that sense of loneliness just a little bit. Especially when you get into space, you know what I mean? It'd be kind of depressing to go around space and just be like empty, empty, empty. That'd be awful. Um, I think that's a factor too, but I think that's a distant future factor. That's a like, okay, we've definitely settled the planets. We can settle pretty much any planet we want. Now where these aliens are. The side note to that, I don't think we should try to meet those aliens until we can fight them. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I ain't saying that we'll be annihilated like a Independence Day movie or anything like that, but I'm saying this, right? Either they're so weak that we can help them with our technology, or they're going to viscously fuck us up because they can and they probably will.
Oh, here's for a War of the Worlds. What if they're very peaceful, but their own, everything about them has some like bacteria that would kill us, so they could unintentionally massacre us.
Yeah, sure. Well, if we had multiple planets, we'd know ahead of time. We'd be like, oh, we've lost a planet because
do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, that's a risk that we face on our own planet. That we have diseases that we can commute and transfer amongst each other that we don't have treatments for. Like I volunteer at a pet shelter, and there are actually certain rooms I'm prohibited from going into because they store animals that have ringworm and other diseases, and those things are so infectious, and it could cause so much trouble that if I gave them to someone else or another animal. So that is a very realistic possibility.
I love you, H.G. Wells. And that actually provides a perfect segue into our next topic, which, I didn't plan the segues. They sometimes happen. What are some downsides to space exploration that you think people don't usually consider? Like the bacteria.
Loneliness, war, aliens.
Well, for me, it's like I'm one of those people who I kind of wanted to be an astronaut. Then I saw Gravity. I remember Louis C.K. said about that movie, there's no such thing as a reluctant astronaut. Well, after that movie, I bet there are a lot more reluctant astronauts, but
I still want to go up.
Well, I'm being sort of tongue in cheek here, but that movie, which probably does have a little more to do with science. I mean, they probably got some things wrong, but I'm guessing that that a lot of it was scientifically accurate. But the issues that I think a lot of those people face are that it takes so much to get just like one space shuttle and one small crew into space, and if we're on, I mean, we can send rescue crews when we're on our when they're just we could send like a helicopter to rescue someone when they're trapped somewhere. But if they're trapped in space, that's a whole new ballpark.
Yeah. If someone gets trapped in space, they're gone. I think that's another thing. I think if you're gonna go into space travel, like I said, the loneliness, you're gonna be on your own for a while. You gotta accept that. On top of that, if you're going in space, there are two outcomes. Something amazing happens, or you fucking die, and you kind of need to be prepared for that. So it's a
Well,
very, very
you'll
dangerous.
probably fucking die in if you're like the first time explorers before colonization's really become a big thing, or
You're probably dead.
you're out to explore some unknown regions of space. You're probably going to die.
Yeah.
It's like you're long, even if it's until the end of your natural lifespan, you're probably going to die.
Yeah,
To
you're
boldly go where no one has
Has
gone
died
before.
before.
But yeah, like in space travel, here's the thing. I think in proper space travel, when you go into space, there are two results really. First of all, you're never going to go back to Earth if you really want to get done. It's not going to happen. Secondly, you will likely die. It's such a high kind of a problem. We just got to keep trying. You know. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm getting a call.
Okay. Hey, let's talk shit about him behind his back. And then I might rewatch this podcast and go, shit, of course. Okay. Yeah. I do like the Green Lantern shirt for this episode.
Thank you. It's funny. I didn't even think about it. I sort of just reflexively grabbed it from my closet after I bought it at this year's Wizard World, which I got to attend in Cleveland. I wrote a whole blog about it. I don't know if you saw that, but
I usually don't read the blogs of Manic anymore. I'm trying to, now with the new laptop they can actually not heat up every 5 seconds. I'm going to try playing some catch up.
Well, this was back in February, so you may have a hard time finding it, but let me dish out the good stuff. I got another birthday present. My brother bought me a meet and greet with Bruce Campbell.
Oh my god!
I also got to meet Joey Lauren Adams. I got her autograph.
Who's she?
She was in Chasing Amy, Dazed and Confused, Mallrats.
Oh, comedies. I probably haven't seen. I haven't seen any of those. In my younger years, I didn't really watch movies. I read books all the time, and I'm not a big comedy person just because for some reason my brain doesn't properly translate comedies.
Well, maybe you'd like Chasing Amy because it's more of a tragic comedy. I mean, you can think of it kind of like drama with funny moments, comedy with serious moments.
Dramedy?
Yeah, it's more like a dramedy, but it's still really good.
God. I have Dune and the Dune by David Lynch, directed by David Lynch. And I'm going to try to find some way for one of these podcasts to actually review that movie. The next movie we have up is actually Interstellar, which made you mentioning Interstellar did he hear? Is he psychic? Oh my god, he just, randomly picked up a Green Lantern shirt and he guessed the next episode.
Well, I mean, talking about space travel and Interstellar, it sort of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I was either going to. We like to choose movie reviews of movies that are usually more recent, because if it wasn't about before that we did Marley and Me, so we needed something more recent, because or else I would have done 2001: A Space Odyssey. My favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, I just that movie has sort of been missing from my collection, but recently I bought a Stanley Kubrick 4-pack at my local Walmart, which also had that, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, and A Clockwork Orange.
I've watched like part of A Clockwork Orange, and I heard that was disturbing, but I'd seen reviews of it. I'm like, I can probably. It's probably something that I should have seen first on my own, because I get very into the movie, and so I was watching it with Rev, so I was like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah, it's a pretty graphic movie. And of course I saw it back in middle school the first time.
First of all, I'd like to add, I pity you so hard that you got to see that movie in middle school. Dear God, that movie is fucking horrifying. Secondly, I have to go. My family's outside for me right now. Pardon?
Ramadan?
Yep.
Yeah. These Muslim people, shoot them. We have gays and we have Muslims.
Whoa! I will fight you. That is not good. Jesus, man, we can't have that going around.
I was holding that back for a day.
Alright, I better go then. They're waiting for me.
Okay, you have fun. Don't die. I need you for next week.
Alright, see ya. Have fun.
Okay. No, the co-host's leaving. Bye. Well, luckily we're at the final. That was the final question about what are some downsides to space exploration that you think people don't usually consider. So now our announcements. And sorry if I'm a little awkward, but it's always awkward having the co-host go. I like have him there just to keep me stable. So usually during this part of the podcast, Omar has his entertainment news, and then he says whatever announcements. So do you have anything you want to announce about your blog, videos, anything?
Well, the only thing that's going on in my world right now the only thing that a lot of us will probably see that's going on is production has started for Pinheads. We filmed one episode already, though I don't want to release any episodes until all of them are available. But we also got our footage of our big guest star, who I'm still not divulging the identity of.
Okay, do you want to tell our viewers what Pinheads is?
Well, it's my web series. The show is about a group of guys who they hang out they work at a radio station and they hang out at a bowling alley, and their lives are kind of peppered with their weird personalities. Even though it's a live action show, they live in this world that's sort of peppered with movie parodies, fourth wall jokes, flexible reality. The pilot's on YouTube, and
you can send me the link via Skype, and I'll post it in the description for this video.
All right. All right, I'll send you that link. Sadly, unfortunately, because of schedule conflicts, cameras aren't going to roll again until mid-July.
That sucks. No, when I have a project, I want to get it done now.
Yeah, I know the feeling, but I don't have a personal deadline, but I don't really have a personal deadline, and luckily I'm being very efficient in my directing, so when we're on set, I make that time count.
That's good. That's good that you use your time wisely while you have it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now my long list of announcements, which is why I like people to talk a lot before me so I don't feel guilty. Tomorrow is another episode of J&J Mondays where I co-host with Jocker Lee 77. I'm not really sure of the topics, and that's normal every week. The latest chapter of The Dawning is finally out. The next chapter, The Horny Heart, should be out this week. I just have to edit the chapter. In a very high-class fiction there. The latest part of Jash Writing Tips should be out soon. I just haven't found time to edit it yet. And it's going to be about basically finding your genre for whatever work of fiction you're doing. And the latest Jash Reads is out, and Jash Reads is my dramatic reading series, and I'm currently going through the first Animorphs book. And I'm doing journals for my Flight Rising dragons, and Flight Rising is a cool dragon adoptable site. Unfortunately, there's only certain times you're allowed to register. So on my Twitter and Facebook and such, next registration I'll probably be posting when it's coming up. And I release the random journal entries every Monday and Friday. The latest one is from Herbie, and Herbie was named after the robot from Liar by Isaac Asimov about a psychic robot, which is really cool, from the iRobot collection. There is another poll on my blog, which is, what is your favorite dinosaur? There's a few choices, including my choice is not here, and I don't like any of the choices. The dragon on the sidebar thingy on my blog, jashikins.blogspot.com, still needs to be named, and the benefits of suggesting a dragon name are there on the side of my blog, so you can check that out if you want to advertise whatever. The link to the writing shop I'm probably going to change, as now I'm taking writing commissions on a site called Fiverr. So I'm getting more people requesting that than people who read the blog. And the donation options on the sidebar include a donate button. I have a little Amazon shop open, and at the bottom of nearly every post I have a link to an Amazon ad that I get a little money out of. And I'm also currently working on my first little ebook, and probably soon I'll finally finish up with the outlining part of it, and it will take place on Mars, because Mars. I love Mars. Thank you, Alex, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom?
I kind of wanted to incorporate having completely missed the boat on any Space Oddity or Rocket Man references. I'm trying to think of something, but now that I said it, I think the ship has officially sailed.
Okay. I'll say what I'm going to say, and then if you think up anything, you can say it. Okay, thank you, everyone the one viewer that has since left that watched it live. If anyone who's watching this now, if you want to ask any questions about any of my current or upcoming projects, or you want to suggest topics for next time, please comment below. Any questions will be answered, topics will be considered. And until next video, goodbye. And Alex, have you thought of something clever?
Strike while the cauldron's hot.